I'd like to make a motion to consider approval of the minutes for the committee of the whole meeting held on June 4th, 2019.
Seconded.
Thank you. Number 3, discuss new strategic plan and planning process. Hannah, please.
Sure. So this item is really just to discuss beginning a new strategic planning process. As you know, strategic planning is important for short-term and long-term goals of the village. It's important for staff, so that way they have a clear direction of projects to work on and making budget decisions. So strategic planning is important for a lot of reasons. The current strategic plan we have is from 2015, so it's been in place for about 4 years now, which has allowed staff a lot of opportunities to make pretty good progress on a lot of the goals. Today we have 10 that have been completely completed, about 47 that are in progress, that are routine or nearing completion as well. So that leaves only about a handful of goals that haven't been touched. So with that being said, we want to look at beginning a new strategic planning process. This would be similar to the same process as last time. We have an RFQ drafted that's in your packet that we would solicit for proposals for an outside facilitator. The scope for this outside facilitator would be to come in to review our citizen survey data that we expect back in October. They would facilitate strategic planning sessions, and then they would provide an independent summary report. In addition to this, in the strategic planning sessions, we would want the facilitator to aid in developing a unified village mission or vision statement. We think that's important to include in this. It's important to note this wasn't budgeted, but we do have money identified in other contractual services line items in the budget. So there is money that we have available for it. Last time it was about $32,000, so depending on the scope, we would expect it to be in about that same range. The goal is to have board participation in one of the planning sessions that the facilitator would be hosting. So we would want the board to participate in a planning session before budget prep begins, and then for the final report to be completed in January before final decisions for fiscal year 21 are made. So any questions or discussion about direction for beginning a new strategic planning process?
Just curious, do you always hire a consultant to do this strategic planning? This isn't something that you would be able to do at your management level?
So you could do it internally. I'll let Dave add to it as well, but I think a lot of the times too, when you have an outside facilitator, it allows for them to, it's an independent, objective person coming in, so it allows, make sure that everyone's input is heard and considered.
Right,
I don't know if Dave has more to add.
I guess, I'm all for strategic plans. You
Sure.
have to have a strategic plan, everybody should. But I also believe it's important for management to be able to do some of these things themselves. And is part of your process gonna be that they're gonna learn how to do this? So moving forward, they'll be better at it? Because I just think some of the stuff, we have really good managers here. We should be able to work on our own strategic planning.
So, it's, first of all, it's up to the board. I've done it. I've done it before. I think, as Hannah was saying, I think it's what you want to weigh is whether or not, you want somebody independent and you want your management team involved in the facilitation rather than kind of aiding with the goal setting. We can do it either way. It's just, the normal process is to bring in an outside person. That doesn't mean that we have to do it that way.
So is that standard process?
Yes, yeah, it's it's completely up to you guys. We can do it if that's what you want to do. It's just, you have somebody independent, they can kind of guide you and kind of with the way that it's been done in other communities, and also I think it just allows the management team to participate more actively when we're acting as, well, if Pat and I were facilitators, which is what I did once 10 years ago. It takes us away from the goal setting, so it's completely up to you. So, but what I would say is it really is important, whatever we do, that I'd really like to do this, I think, before 1st of December, just because that will allow us to start building it into the budget for next year. So there's a couple dates in here, the 18th and 19th. One of those is a board meeting night, but that would allow us to do it, it would be essentially allow us to start the budget planning. And typically you want to do these things off-site. It creates just kind of a little bit more relaxed atmosphere. And so that's the other part of what we would be proposing too. Staff, before that, will have already met and kind of developed some of their goals, so you'll have that. You'll have, part of the reason why we're doing the citizen survey now is you'll have some data in terms of what the residents are seeking and what they see the priorities. So that will be data that you'll have. But again, I call this really organized brainstorming. It's a way that everybody gets to participate equally, and it's a very important process. But however you want to handle the facilitator, externally or internally, I mean, we're open either way.
Any other questions?
When was the last time we did a citizen survey? Sorry.
15?
2015.
Oh, sorry. No,
We did
citizens.
that 3 years ago, right? Yeah.
Right, so you're looking to incorporate this with that, Dave? Who's going to do those survey results if we don't do this?
Well, we've already started the survey. We hired the National Citizen Survey Group. So those surveys, I think, are going out soon if they haven't already, right?
They're already out.
Yeah, they're out.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, sorry about that, Mike.
No, it's all right. Number 4, discuss emergency pump replacement.
did-
Go
So
ahead.
I guess there's two feedbacks. One, is the 18th and 19th good for everyone? Or can they at least get back to Lisa?
I'll have to
They're
get
not-
back to you. I'll have to get back to you.
It's not a
Okay.
Bears game that day or anything like that, right?
Monday Night Football, you mean, or something like that? We did not check that schedule.
All right.
It's your priorities.
I know.
And then
Right.
there's a typo in this one. It's January 2020 that it's going to come due, right? The final report?
Yes, typo.
So,
So it's November 18th.
yes or no to the RFQ?
I like having an outside firm do it.
I agree.
I agree.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I like the outside. With the
That's
survey
fine.
coming out, I think it'll be handy.
Okay. Well, Lisa will follow up with you with calendar dates so we can get that locked. So,
You good?
we're done. Yep.
Number 4, discuss emergency pump replacement at Post 5 sanitary sewer lift. John?
Yes, sir, thank you. What you see in front of you here is a request for a replacement sanitary sewer pump for Post 5, which is the lift station behind 171st and 80th Avenue Marketplace there. I think it's called Bayberry Pantry over there. We had one of the 3 pumps in the variable frequency drive receive a couple failures. We've been trying to crutch it along because currently we are working on engineering a complete overhaul and replacement of that lift station, but we were not able to get the full life out of the pump that we were hoping for. The pump manufacturer gave us 2 options. One of them would be repairing the pump, and that would take up to 6 months, to repair the pump at a cost of just under $110,000. Repairing it only gives us a 90-day warranty. And then the full replacement for a new pump, which would also match what we are, again, anticipating for engineered replacement size for that station at a cost of $185,950. Again, as a emergency replacement, we had to look for available funding. The sanitary repairs that we have had throughout town have come in very well under our budget amounts. So we are able to offset some of those costs to afford this pump. It is Public Works' recommendation to approve an emergency pump replacement, waive competitive bidding, and allow us to purchase a new pump and VFD, or variable frequency drive, for the cost of $185,950.
Any questions? No? I'll make a motion to move it to the board. For the second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 5, receive comments from the public. I'll the record reflect there is none. Committee of the whole is adjourned at 6:57.